Okay, good morning. Um, I was kind of brainstorming this week for ideas for Mastermind, and one that I came up with was personal branding. So I thought we could kind of extrapolate on that a little bit because, and we'll go over this during the conversation, but at the end of the day, we all know we have to affiliate with a brokerage or create your own brokerage, right? But you are your business, right? I am here, or the Oceanair, or Keller Williams, or whatever you choose to do, is there to facilitate you being able to do your business. But the business is you, and you are your own brand. So, are you branding yourself? What are you really doing to make yourself stand out amongst the 70,000 other licensees in North Carolina? What steps are you taking now? I know we all post on social media, and that's definitely part of it, and some do a better job than others, or maybe better job at the right word, do more of it than others, right? And I think it's really important to do that. It's also important to do it in a way that you're going to do it consistently, right? You can't just be doing it to do it. It has to be something you enjoy, or it's just going to come across, I think it's very meh, right? So find a way to kind of express yourself, your true self, not who you're trying to be, not like you see some agents, which I'm not a huge fan of. It's just like completely over the top. And it's like, come on. I mean, it took you an hour to get ready. I am all about being genuine. But if you are comfortable like putting on a huge production, then go do it. You have to do what's going to resonate best with your demographic, your target audience, your sphere, and also you, right? Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't resonate with you, it's probably not going to resonate with your intended audience. So let's talk about, kind of what's your perception of your own personal branding. It's not just a logo, it's not just a headshot, it's a perception that people have of you when you're not in the room. So, how do you think people talk about you when you're not in the room when it comes to real estate? So, for example, when a client refers you, what do you think they say? This is meant to be two ways, this is not rhetorical.
Well, I have a funny, I don't know if it's good or bad. It just kind of is what it is. Um, when I'm on camera or whatever on Facebook or Insta or TikTok, I always start everything with hi friends. So I get a lot of the youngsters that are like, hi
Oh,
friends.
nice.
So yeah, so I was like, I don't hate that. So I'm trying to make a note here going forward. I'm known as the hi friends friendly, realtor. So I'm gonna run with it. And I just have always done it like not even thinking about it. So this was just a few days ago, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep on doing that. So
I love that, April. I think that's so cool.
Little catchphrase.
Yeah.
yeah, catchphrase. Yeah, we'll see.
On a lot of my social media posts, tell your friends about me. And I got that from a fraternity brother whose grandpa, he said, my granddaddy used to always say, tell your friends about me, tell your friends about me. And it just stuck with me. I thought it was really cool. So I use that a lot in my posts.
I like that.
Whatever. Janine cannot unmute. Let me see if I can help her. Janine's thinking too much about the soccer game tonight, so she's not.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. I think you're unmuted, Janine. Give it a shot. You're not showing muted on my end, anyways. All right, Connor, Ellen, Josh, what do you think people say about you when you're not in the room? How do you think people refer to you?
I think for me, it's my nurturing nature. It's well, I like to take people through the buying process, and having come from a different state and getting here to North Carolina and seeing how everything is upside down, how we do things. I like to really focus on that when I start working with a buyer, and I think that's stuck with me. I know folks have referred me out saying like she'll really walk you through the process and help you understand how the crazy way we do business down here.
That's great feedback. And I think that's awesome. And it is so important, to kind of know your audience and know what they probably don't know. and be able to walk them through it. I mean, that's our job, right? To be able to really help them understand. What do we say our mission is? You know, to give people the knowledge and guidance they need to feel comfortable and confident. I think that's really important, and to really nurture them through understanding is great. You got somebody out there saying she's going to nurture you through the process. That's a good person. That's a good referral right there. How about anybody who hadn't spoken up, or regardless? How would you describe your vibe in 3 words?
Fun.
Vibe.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Holy crap. That was weird. Okay.
All right, Janine, describe your vibe in 3 words.
Loud, fast, and I don't know, effective.
I love it. Anybody else?
I would say for me, caring and knowledgeable. It's really what I go for.
What was the
Probably, like,
question? I was
fun,
logged off.
3 words.
informative, and probably chaotic. Because
The first one comment?
fun, I always like for my clients to have fun. That's one thing that, for some reason, when I get referred somebody from somebody else, they're like, they always said this was such a fun process for you with you, and I'm like, okay.
That's great. I mean,
So
you want to try and make it fun, right? I mean, it's business, but
it's already stressful. Why make it more stressful?
right? Yeah, the more humor you can kind of inject in it, make it a little lighter, help people stress a little bit less. I mean, I think that's part of our job too. You know, it's at least, you know, like I'll tell you when it's time to worry. Otherwise, just relax. We got this. You know,
I like that. I'll tell you when it's time to worry.
and I'm good to know, so I'll let you know. Otherwise, just relax until we get there.
Yeah, for me, I think it's like the real deal and more chill, right? Because sometimes they anticipate when they're going to work with a realtor, we're going to be all dressed up, we're
Yep.
just going to be so polished and professional. And I try to really just relate to them and work at their level. So I think it's more like that chill vibe.
I think that's a good spot to mirror people. You know, you don't want to
Yes.
mirror them when they get emotional, but you do want to mirror kind of their approach, their vibe, kind of their,
For sure.
I mean, their level of, you know, how, you know, I think you know what I'm trying to say. I'm failing the word, but casual. You know, if they're casual, be casual. I've never been the buttoned up realtor other than like closings sometime years ago, but now it's pretty much a polo and shorts most of the time. But I don't meet clients who want to look at houses dressed up. They're in scrubs, or you know, they're in overalls, or they're in like a t-shirt.
Gym clothes.
Yeah. So think about authenticity, consistency, and clarity in your messaging when you're putting your branding in, right? To touch on what we talked about a little bit, so why does that matter in real estate? Well, because people don't hire brokerages. 95% of people do not give a rat's ass a logo on your card, the brokers that you work for. They're about you. They're about you, right? Your brand builds trust before you even meet. You've got people that knows about you, sees your content that you probably haven't talked to in years. Ellen had a friend from high school a couple months ago, right, Ellen? Y'all hadn't been in contact like consistently, had you? I've got clients right now I went to high school with, and for the most part, hadn't talked to them that much in the last 29 years. You know, it's you never know who's paying attention. So assume everyone's paying attention, right? And put out the info. Do you think that you've ever lost a client to someone with a stronger online presence?
Yes.
Okay, talk about that. Pretty
Well, what is that?
convinced about that, so tell me why.
In my neighborhood, there is one realtor.
Yeah.
We have about 660 homes in here. And
Why there's
she What'd you say?
I'm glad there's not 6 more.
Yeah, me too. She gets everything. And her online presence is good. You know, it's solid, it's consistent. She's been doing this, I think, about 8, 9 years now. So I've been really, you know, I talked to Doug a little bit about this, just trying to come up with something, a plan on how to combat that. I'm still in the works, but I don't want to sit here and do nothing. So I'm trying to come up with a plan that involves, you know, direct mail, you know, sending to website landing pages, being specific to my neighborhood. And, you know, I'm trying to brand myself within my neighborhood. So,
April, my cousin, she in her neighborhood, there's a few of them,
yeah,
and she does like these little nothing big, nothing real estate related. She'll like rent the Kona ice truck and have like a cooler of like high noons, white claws, and like that for the grown-ups, and have the kids just come
Yes.
and get their ice cream pop from the thing that parks in front of her house, however long she rents it for, and then just puts herself
yeah,
out there. And I think, I
yeah.
don't know if she partners with a lender to do it or whatever, but it's not real estate. It's just getting to
Yeah.
know the people in the neighborhood. I mean,
I
yeah,
think
they'll know
that's
that
the
you're,
approach I want to take, you
yeah.
know, at least in the beginning. I have a list of like fun events that you know, I did that at the beginning of this year and hadn't done anything with it. My thing is, and Matt gets on me all the time, you know, I have a lot of great ideas and I have a lot of thoughts, but you got to shit or get off the pot. And that's where I'm at.
You got to pick one and go do it. You know,
Yeah.
those mailers and stuff can be really effective, but it takes time before they kick in. Like people are going to have to see it 6, 7, 8, blah, blah, blah times
Yeah.
before it really starts to resonate with them. So if you're going to take that approach, that's fine. Just be invested in the long haul. It's not like
Yeah.
a shot and 4 people are going to call you and say, oh, listen, my house, I saw your postcard. It's not going to work that way.
Well, yeah, I mean, I spent
100%.
a little bit of money on Christmas gifts and I literally put 660 little bags on mailboxes. And I was like, yeah, come on, bring me the listing. Zero. And I mean, that's my unrealistic expectation. It's got to be consistent. It's got to be tied into some other things with events, with postcards, with, you know, whatever. So, anyway, I don't know that I have lost a listing to her. I'm not even a competition to her. So, and I want to be.
Well, it's not like she started out owning the neighborhood. So, you know,
Right.
just understand it takes a while to build that. And if you do consistently put yourself out there and continue to do those things, it will happen over time. And hell, you don't have to sell every house in the neighborhood with
I
600.
don't,
If you just do a handful, you're going to do pretty good for the year, right?
that's right.
You know, Brandon just did his annual strawberry picking thing. And I think he said he had about 20 different clients out there and it cost him
Wow.
$560. Now that's
Yeah.
pretty good return on investment, you know, to re-engage with clients. That is a really low amount of money to spend. And it's something where you can get face to face. You know, you can shake the hand and kiss the baby and do all the things. And it's fun. I mean, who doesn't like to go pick strawberries, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be like over the top. Janine, I love your sharing about what Rachel does. I mean, that's really cool too. A Kona ice truck or a food truck or anything like that that you could do for your neighborhood. I mean, last year I did a Christmas party and I thought that was great because A, I didn't have to go anywhere. And B, when it was over, my bed was here, you know, so that was a lot of fun and people just came to me. That's a lot of fun. And we had a great turnout. And it wasn't just clients, it was a mix of clients and friends, you know, and you can do that. It doesn't have to be 100% work or anything like that. There's no reason that you can't mix it up because people like meeting other people, you know, and finding
And I
out different.
think right now, like, it's so important. And I'm same like Rachel said, like the amount of work that you're going to have to do and research and front end and figure out the logistics of all the things is a pain in the ass. And you don't want to just copy the next person. But especially in our area, I mean, swing a dead cat and you hit a realtor, right? So everybody it's saturated here. It is saturated with agents, and you've really got to be the one that sticks out. I mean, everybody here sees the pink Jeep driving around. They know that's Tiffany Kirkpatrick, and she's got an insane online presence, and she's active in the Chew community. Her kids are and play football at Dixon. I mean, I've done deals with her
He has
before.
too
So,
much of a
I mean,
presence.
yeah, she's got a huge presence in the community too. Well, too much. Yeah. I mean, it can be too much. I don't need to know how many times you go into the bathroom every day, but I mean, seriously, like it's just you got to be different, stand out, be the one that people call, that kind of stuff.
You need to be.
Just thinking outside the box, but not like cheesy corny either, because that can be a turnoff.
You don't need to be the one that everybody calls. You need to be the one
Truth.
your people call.
That's right.
Yeah.
Make it it's a competition. Just do a better job for yourself.
Yep.
You don't compete against the pink Jeep, but don't be a secret agent. I mean, make
Right.
sure people know what you do. I've never heard of her. I've never seen the pink Jeep. And granted, I don't
No, I mean, she really is great. She puts great
She's great.
content out. You do know her riding down the road. You're like, oh, there goes Tiffany.
Yep.
And her husband's, big in the fishing community. So
And that's her niche. Like I like
yeah.
to look at it like that's her niche, and I don't even see myself competing with her because
No.
I don't work on that level. Um,
But
I
she
think
also
being different,
owns her firm and stuff too. She's in a very different
of
place in her
course,
business.
of course.
Yeah.
So that's why I always look at that. I'm not competing with her. I think what you said, Janine, is that be different. Think about what your niche is. How do you fit in the community? Who are those people that you help the best? And build your mantra and brand around that rather than competing with the person who's out there pushing messages 24/7.
So how about think about it this way? Do you think that the way you currently brand yourself aligns you with the kind of clients you want to work with?
Yes.
For me, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, let's
Because
about how and why.
because the people that have the good experience with you are going to send the people that they know your way. And usually you have a really good idea of what the personality is, and they will have a good idea if your personality is going to connect with the people that they're sending your way. And there's been probably 2 referrals that I've gotten that I'm like, holy effing Lord, I don't ever want to deal with these people ever again in my life. But they were referred to me, so I dealt through the minutia to get it done. And so, you know, I think that, and a lot of times if people are referring to me and they know my type of personality, and they'll give me a heads up and be like, hey, this personality is going to need a lot more hand holding. You might not have to be able to, you're going to have to repeat yourself a lot of times. So like, I'll get a heads up. They want me to still connect with them, but will give me a heads up of how I probably need to cater my business and personality to be a better match and a better fit to be
Yeah,
successful for them.
I mean that's awesome when somebody tees you up and they're like, "Hey, you're going to love working with Sally, but she's a little crazy, so just prepare yourself." All right, so let's think about it from how you're viewed a little bit, but talk a little bit more about like your ideal client and how you think you can attract them. I'll speak personally. My ideal client is someone referred to me by a past client.
100%.
I mean, that's
Absolutely.
at a certain point in this business as a career, that's where you want the majority
Yep.
of it come from, right?
They're not shopping you. They're going to be loyal. Half the time, they're not going to give you a dud, you know?
They're serious. They want to make something
Yeah.
happen. They're going to be wishy-washy. So what are you doing to re-engage with your past clients or your sphere so they send you business? So when they hear their cousin or their coworker or the other mom at soccer practice talking about real estate, that your name jumps right out of their mouth. What do you think is something personal about you that your clients remember and share with other people?
I know I've got a lot of nurses that I've worked with before that have referred to me. Um, there's
That's great.
always that awesome connection there.
Yeah. For me, it's empty nesters, right? People that are starting that new chapter in their life, which I can totally relate to.
I've got a bunch of first time type buyers,
Love
right? They
that.
all buy a house, they get excited about it, then they're like, "Oh, my friend wants to buy a house,"
Yes.
and so on and
Yeah.
so forth.
Yeah.
Mid-20 somethings or whatever. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, just recently, my best friend, she doesn't live here anymore, but I sold her sister a house in Leland a couple years ago, and she turned around and sold last year. She referred me her coworker, who referred me his mom. So I had 3 deals from one person. So it was a domino effect, which was great.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's what we live for in this business. Right?
Yeah.
The things we
Let
want.
that shit just fall in your lap. Yeah.
I love it when it comes out of the sky like that. But if you continue to put yourself out there, you continue to follow up with your folks, that's a lot more likely to happen, right? So make sure that
Yes.
you're very conscious about how you're trying to brand yourself. And don't be afraid to say, I love working with first time home buyers. I love working with reloads. I love working with the military. You know, anything. Um, let's see, what else? Let me check my notes here. So think about how you're thinking about how you want to be identified, how you want to project yourself, right? So once you kind of have a good idea of who you are, the kind of client you want to work with, the kind of way you want to brand yourself. Now we're talking about, okay, I've thought about it a lot, right, April? Now what am I going to do about it? It's time to put all the thought, kind of the plan into action. So once you have a good idea of how you want to portray yourself, now it's time to start, projecting that message out there. So is that brand, is the way you're identifying, is it showing up? Is it really evident in the stuff that you put out there, your social content, but also like your voicemail? What's your voicemail sound like? Do you have a voicemail? Does it just go straight to the message? Do you have a personal one? Does it say anything about you being a real estate agent? You know, does it sound like you're pissed off? Does it say "don't call me"? You know,
Is it 75 minutes long?
have you listened to it lately?
Yeah.
I'm talking about what people when they call to leave you a
Right.
message, what they
Right.
hear. So I get good feedback about mine. If you've never heard my voicemail, call it and see what you think and put your own spin on it. Mine basically says, "Thanks for calling. Sorry I missed you. If I didn't answer the phone, it's because I'm with my family or with a client. I'll call you back as soon as I can." And people will leave me a voicemail saying, "I love your voicemail message." And that's cool. So just the little things stand out to people that you think
Yeah.
might not ever pay attention to. So be as intentional as you can with everything, because you never know how it's going to be perceived, and you never know who it's going to really stick with and what that might come to. What if somebody that likes my voicemail turns into a situation like Janine and it turns into 3 or 4 deals because of that? And it could have been something just as simple as I was very intentional about that message I wanted to leave if I didn't pick up the phone when somebody calls. Because let's be honest, I don't answer the phone a lot unless I know who it is calling, because I get so many spam calls. What's one way you could be more consistent just this week, over the next week with your message? What could you do to be more consistent? What are you going to commit to today to be more consistent putting your message out there to resonate better with folks?
Mhm. I
I've
like
been trying to do more reels, and I'm trying to educate myself on how to do a good reel on the Instagrams.
but you're
Um,
really good. I like yours, April, where you're just like shooting the shit in my car. I'm picking up a hot tub or whatever the hell. Like that's real life. And I
Yeah,
think that if people are like, "Oh damn, well maybe I want to buy a beach house and invest it." I'm not the person to talk to about that. You're the person, like, so that's your niche. Like you can resonate with the investors from Raleigh to, the coast. I think that just, Tiffany is become a lot more present online. Like
Yeah, I've
giving
noticed her
tips, and
recently.
she's doing a great job, just like tips and tricks about getting just one little tidbit once a week or so that she's doing. And it's her video, it's her face, it's talking. And I think that that sells and that attracts and that algorithm works well. I suck at it. I half the
I
time don't have
recommend taking some
makeup on.
time, put it in your calendar to
Yeah.
learn how to do certain things. Like, I'm 48 years old. I certainly don't know anything about Instagram and TikTok and all that, but I know that that is crucial in my business. So, I'm learning little at a time.
That's really a good segue. Steve, is that
You're
what?
welcome.
Cheers, man.
It's an energy drink, not a White Claw. White Claws don't start until noon.
There you go.
That's funny.
An hour and a half to go. Consistency is going to beat complexity all day, every day. Don't be your own worst critic. You're not going to be able not to be. Just go do the thing. You know, just go do the thing. You'll get better at it the longer you do it, but you're not going to get better at it if you don't start doing it. So just start somewhere. Start. You know, get out there. Focus on platforms your audience uses. You know, a lot of my friends aren't, well, some of them aren't on TikTok.
I don't even have that. I don't even know how to do it.
Most of the content I post myself that I don't have someone posting for me is on Facebook and Instagram and like Twitter and LinkedIn. That's about the extent of what I'm posting. Now I'm doing stuff on TikTok, but it's
I see it.
Jamie. So for that, because I know where my audience is, and most of it is probably Facebook and Instagram.
Same.
Right? So but that's okay. You need to be where you
But
are.
I have gotten a few younger, really, Matt's over here dancing. I've gotten a few like of the younger people. They're like, we saw your TikTok, and I'm like, yeah, hey friends. So, you know, I don't really have that market of the 20 somethings, but you know, I'll try just about anything, you know. That's why I haven't posted on TikTok, I don't even think this year, but it's on my list to go back to do. So.
You know, given your advanced age, your kids' friends are going to start.
You're very funny.
So you're going to, you want to be in a position to help your kids' friends when they get
Right.
to
Yeah.
Mine too. Let's see.
Advanced age.
What
Wow.
what's stopping you from being more consistent and showing up more regularly and branding yourself? Is it because
I think I feel, and maybe y'all don't have this pressure, I feel like everybody's already doing it. Why me? What, you know? I'm like, if I see one more realtor on my feed, but then I have to remember, I'm looking at all these realtors trying to figure out, oh, hey, I like that. I don't like that. Oh, that's good. So, I get the womps every now and then, like, I'm just tired. I'm done.
sick of this? Well,
Yeah.
one thing Brandon says a lot, and it's a really good point, is everybody knows, you know, a handful of realtors or whatever, right? But we also know how many realtors are actually doing the business, and it's like, you know, 5 to 10% are doing it.
Yeah.
And also as realtors, we're probably following more realtors on social media than, you know, your average Joe. Just because we're in the business, we interact with these people, we friend them, we want to follow them to see what they're doing. They friend us because we did a transaction together, et cetera, et cetera. So don't, you know, don't hurt yourself by not posting because you assume people are tired of seeing realtor content, because they might not be seeing as much content as you're seeing. You know?
Yeah.
Also, all of your content doesn't have to be about real estate.
I will say it's a good idea to, if your people give you permission, to tag your clients, because their friends can see your post and you never know what could come from that. So obviously you need permission to tag your people, but if your people give you permission to tag them in like a just sold post, I always do that because you never know who that octopus arm is reaching when their people can see the post that I'm like, who the hell is that that's commented on here? Oh, it's one of my clients' friends, you know.
100%. One thing that I really like doing, well, two things. I need to get better about getting pictures with clients at closing. I kind of gotten away from that. And just like posting a picture of the property. My last closing with the buyer, I got a picture with the couple, which is fun to do, holding their closing gift or whatever. But one thing I've enjoyed for years, and now it's getting really ridiculous because I've been doing this for so long, is my Facebook memory. When I get the memory of their closing, I'll screenshot it and text it to them. And now it's like I sent one the other day. It's like, I can't believe you've been in your house for 10 years. It's just wild, right? But I mean, what a great, cool way to connect and remind them, hey, this is your house anniversary. Congrats.
Yeah.
It's been X amount of years. Another thing that I've done is, and we've talked about this a couple of times, but if you're talking about kind of turnkey marketing, and I got both of these from Brandon, Client Giant and From Your Friends. From Your Friends is basically, it sends a postcard to whoever every month, and it's got like a coupon, like $20 off at Sullivan's, or 20% off at Buffalo Brothers, or 20% off oil change, something like that. And it's got a picture of my family on there. It's got our logo, and just a little blurb for me, and it says, "Hey, thanks for supporting my business. This is just a little token of my gratitude to say thanks. Please keep me in mind, and when you can help someone, you can tell your friends." And now I'm showing up in like 80 mailboxes every month, and they cost $1 a piece. I mean, and people will text me when they get it. Yeah, that's From Your Friends. So I encourage you to check that out. I don't think it's an option at the coast because I think they were bought out by one agency down there. But you should be able to do it in the Triangle if you're interested in that. And you can add as many.
What was that again? I forgot that. I wrote it down and looked into it, then I just forgot.
It's called From Your Friends.
That's right. Okay.
And then Client Giant is the other one, and it basically sends like a little gift package every quarter.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and like the last one is like I
For
have,
how long?
well, you
As long
basically
as you're paying for it.
do it for a year at a time, so you can renew every
No,
year,
like how long does it send the gifts to the people?
as long as you sign up for it.
Oh,
But basically, you'll do it a year at a time,
yeah.
and it's like $100 for the year. So it's basically a $25 gift every quarter. Although it actually the prices just went up like everything. I think it's $120. But it's like an actual package that comes in the mail and stuff.
Yeah.
So like a postcard. It's like a cookbook with a couple of ingredients for a recipe. There were these little like tapas plates that I got last time. It's different things, and you can go and see like for both of these. You can go see from Your Friends like what the next month coupon is going to be. From Your Friends, you can go see like what the next quarter gift is going to be. And now what I do is when I have a closing, I just sign somebody up for both. And for the Client Giant one, that's obviously more of an investment because I signed like 60 people up at $100 a pop. That's kind of expensive, right? And so after the first year, basically, I'm going to go back and say, okay, well, who did I hear from sending these gifts all year? And if I didn't hear from somebody, I'm just not going to send it to them.
Yeah.
Or make a judgment call based on my relationship with them. So just that's just another arrow for your quiver. That's just kind of like turnkey, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. April, I thought it was really great what you did, but that's a lot of work putting those 600 packages together.
I'm not doing that again.
So, but there are ways that you can automate something like that if you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I used to deliver bundt cakes for Thanksgiving, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore driving from here to there, and your clientele gets bigger and bigger, and it's just like, so I think that doing it just for the people that closed that year, your new people, right? That can narrow it down a little bit.
Well, another thing Brandon does, which is a great idea, is he's identified people he can source like 2+ deals from.
Yeah.
And then he does a dinner for them.
Yeah.
which
La-
is really
Last year for Christmas time, I baked cookies for my neighborhood. Would not recommend. I spent a solid probably 8 to 10 hours baking cookies. They were mediocre at best. I did get a phone call from it, so it wasn't completely worthless. But man, that was a miserable day.
I
that's a lot.
lost 2 toenails from delivering 660 bags. 2 toenails I lost. And the only
This
conversations I
business.
had were with other realtors. I was like, check that off the box, done.
I love it.
That's hilarious.
Thinking about this, here's some idea for things to avoid, mistakes to avoid. Trying to please everybody.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
not gonna get everybody, so don't try to. Right? Know who you want to appeal to. That's fine. Maybe you're not the pink Jeep clientele person. That's okay. They can go find the pink Jeep lady. You go be your person. Right? Being inconsistent with your messaging. That's really important. Right? Be consistent. Be constantly put it out there. Not being clear with the point you're trying to get across if you're talking about something specifically. And this one really resonates with me. Polished but impersonal. Like
Yeah.
it's sharp, it's fancy, it's glittery, but it comes across as fake.
Yeah.
What resonates more with you? The agent that's in the $2.5 million spec home in North Hills that their client didn't buy and they don't list the house, somebody on their firm does. They went and had headshots done there, or they went and videoed a shot there about, I love to go eat at Restoration Hardware Rooftop. You want me to buy or sell your house? Or is it just you in your car talking to people about what you got going on that day and who you're trying to help? And hey, who are you trying to help? The glitzy stuff and really polished stuff is cool, but I don't think it resonates as much as just people talking to people. But you go do you. That's how I'm going to approach it. You got to do what resonates with you and with your audience too. What do you think is a branding mistake that you've made?
Uh, uh, I'll say it's both been a blessing and a curse. I've tried to make people know, hey, I'm always available. My phone's always on, and use that as branding. And then I get a call at 11 o'clock at night on the regular. So it's kind of backfired a little bit, but it's give or take, and I'm happy to do it. I just, in hindsight, I'm like, oh, maybe that shouldn't have been when I went on. But if you read like some of my reviews from clients, they're like, oh man, I called him in the middle of the night and he answered. I don't know when this guy sleeps. So
I think that can be a career progression too. That's something I know I've done more of lately is like I'll get a text from a client at 9:30 and it's not about anything that needs to be dealt with immediately. And whereas
true. Yeah.
I would reply to it right then, I'll just wait until 9 or 10 the next day. Now, if it's something that needs immediate attention, I'm gonna handle it. I'm always gonna handle
Right.
it. But,
Right.
some clients are just really chatty, and I had a conversation with a client this week, and I intentionally put it off until I called her back because I knew I was going to need 30 minutes. It's just some people are like that.
Yeah.
Anybody else? That's a really good, honest one, Steve, and a legitimate one too. I really like that. It's hard in this business because you want to be that person that picks up the phone and answers their question and helps them when they need the help. But it's also for your own personal well-being. You got to know what fire needs the attention when. All right. If nobody has anything else. A couple takeaways then to think about for the week. Think about one word that defines your brand.
Mhm.
Think about one thing to stop doing. and think about one thing to start doing.
Repeat those, please.
One word that defines your brand. One thing to stop doing. One thing to start doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to revisit this at Mastermind next time we talk. So make a little note, doesn't have to be huge, but make a little note about these three and then let's recap. Okay? And challenge yourself to come up with that one word. It can be more than one, but whatever. Your tagline, kind of like we talked about. One thing to stop doing, one thing to start doing. All right. Any other thoughts, questions, ideas?
I do. I got to
Go ahead,
run.
Steve.
I got a call to get to, but great checking in with you all. Have a good day.
Have a great
Bye, Steve. I
Take care.
want to throw out if anybody has like places to go and learn that they've enjoyed or found useful for Instagram or something like that. I've been watching somebody and they anybody that doesn't know you or is trying to check you out that's not necessarily in your direct circle, like may go through your feed, and if it looks a certain way, I know people have different opinions about this, but like some of the reels I've done in the past, I haven't had a thumbnail. So I went and learned how to add a thumbnail, like little things like that. If anybody has somebody they like or follow, I'm just in the learning phase right now still.
I think it's important to challenge yourself like that and be willing to see what other people are doing. Not that you have to copy them. Maybe you decide I don't want to do that, but you're giving yourself exposure.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Well, great conversation. Everybody have a fun and safe holiday weekend, and I'll see you on the other side, okay?
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Good luck tonight, Janine.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, thank you.